The recent James Fox film about the Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay. So love his stuff. He's great.
He is great.
Yeah. So, and I talked to him, I don't know, about 10 years ago. We were at a conference and he said, so tell me about the religious aspects of this stuff, because I don't see that connection. And so, I kind of, at the time, told him a little bit about it. But
this was 10 years ago he asked you that?
Yeah, about 10 years ago. However, this last video of his, moment of contact.
Moment of contact, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Varginha, Brazil. There was a crash landing, and apparently there was a being that was running around a town for a couple of days that was captured by the military. Or two beings, rather.
Yeah. So this was fascinating to watch, mostly because, to me, what was interesting, he's bringing he's bringing the framework of what I would call the secular idea of the UFO as extraterrestrial, crash lands, and then the government covers it up. And people are... Men in black. Yeah, and intimidated, and the being looks really creepy, these kinds of things. So all those elements are there. But what's also there, but what gets completely missed generally, is that this is in a Catholic country. And the people that first see the being, they're like, what is it, a demon? It's not a human. So they identify it, and there's a lore to demons as well. And part of that lore is that they have cloven feet, and they have a really terrible smell like sulfur. And both of these are mentioned many, many times. They come up repeatedly in the video. And I'm thinking, if I ever see him again, I'll say, hey, you brought up a lot of the religious stuff. But of course, he didn't see it because he's coming from a secular framework. But a person trained in religious studies is going to see that. Or a Catholic is going to see that. Somebody who's very Christian, they're not going to miss that.
Yeah, this kind of blew my mind when you told me this last night. You mentioned the clovis feet and the smell of sulfur. Mm-hmm. And so you're saying that this is talked about a lot in some of these Catholic texts?
Yes. So I'm not saying that that's what it is, because I don't do that. But I'm pointing out that when people had these experiences in 1500, 1600, these are the same kinds of things that they would say. They would say it smelled like sulfur. They would talk about the feet and things like that. So for Jacques' case, is he said that when Whitley Strieber's book Communion came out, there's that picture of the alien on the cover of Communion, and it looks a lot like the James Fox alien. Mm-hmm. Maybe a nicer version of it, a more friendly version. Mm. And so Jacques said that it influenced researchers, ufologists. So ufologists are people who study this topic. And so they would go to a sighting, a reported sighting, and if people had seen stuff that did not look like Whitley's cover of Communion, they would discount it as a legitimate encounter.
I think James Fox's creature in Varginha could have been Satan.
Yeah. So exactly. That's my point, is that you have descriptions of weird things like that, and then people ascribe it to Satan. They say, this must be Satan, or this must be a demon, or something like that. And you still have that within Catholic cultures. If you have a UFO sighting and there happens to be the smell of sulfur and, these beings that look like this, they're going to say the same thing because they still believe in that.